So I'm gonna speak a drop, a little bit. I'm not gonna speak too much. I'm not gonna get so much into the time that we're in, because the time that we're in is a very unique time. And I think that specifically the fact that tomorrow is a fast day, and tomorrow is tomorrow morning we wake up to have fast, and the fast is called the 10th of Tevet. And now the thing is that it's so interesting, because you could be religious or you could be God aware, and you could be so drained, okay, from all of it, because it's always like, oh, this is the biggest day of the year. No. This is what it's all about. Oh, no. Really, Purim is the highest. Kippur is the highest. Right? It's like when it can get draining. It can get draining because it's almost like there's a lot of expectation. Like almost, I don't know if you all had this, but on Hanukkah or on Zos Hanukkah, where there's all this like expectation of like there's so much light, and I just have to catch the light, and I don't know how to catch this light, and what do I do? And it's almost, I think for me anyway, it comes to a point where I'm just like, I tune it all out. Where it's just like, it's so much. Like everyone's talking about how special this day is and how you have to, it almost feels like it's so much. Yes.
On Facebook?
I am on Facebook.
Someone asked me if you're on Facebook.
I am, yes. We are on live on Facebook, are we? Are we not? We are. I think we are. Yes. So it's almost like it can feel draining, okay? It can feel almost like there's so much, it can feel draining. Because what's draining in essence? Draining happens to a person, okay? Remember that we're souls and bodies, okay? So that's premise number one. We're souls and bodies. So you are a soul in your body. You could have a person's body that is so broken. There's all these amazing stories of people that don't have arms and legs, and people that are in the Olympics, people that have like exceeded what's physically possible for them. And where did all of that come from? That came from the engine inside. The engine inside our nefesh, our soul, meaning where we are, where we're holding all our emotions and our feelings, is what gives you either energy or a lack of energy. What gives you a drive for life, or what takes away your drive for life. What makes you depleted and drained, or what makes you high energy and high passion and high, just alive and feeling that feeling of aliveness, right? And I would say from my experience, most of the people that I bump into over the course of my life are just trying to get by, are definitely on survival, are just trying to get by, have a hard time smiling, have a hard time finding the good, have a hard time getting by, just emotionally, okay? And the thing that's most exciting for people nowadays is another party and another drink and another drug and another touch by some random person. That's the highlight of, and we all know that in Dimyon, meaning in anticipation for that, it's exciting, but once you actually touch that, it's not so exciting. If anything, it's depleting at the end of the day. So the idea is, and that's why these classes are so important, and we're going to keep it short. We're going to have like half-hour classes. They're not going to be too long, and they're going to be too much. But the idea is to understand that I'm a human being. This is a human being. And just like everything has a way of operating, that clock has a way of operating. You got to put a battery in it. Right? It has a way of operating. Everything has a way of operating. Every single thing. Look around in the room. Every single thing has its way of operating. This is a cup. And a cup serves a purpose. And the purpose is for it to hold whatever you want to put in it. Okay? It's a storage for whatever you want to put in it. Okay, it serves a purpose. It has a very clear purpose. When you understand the purpose of whatever it is, you understand how it operates, you can get the most out of it. When you don't know how something works, you don't know how it works. You don't know what to do with it. Somebody brought me I have a very hard time with tripods. For those of you that are here, I have a very hard time with tripods. I don't know, tripods, for me, I don't matter how many tripods I get, I have to get a tripod that in the store, this is my next attempt at it, that the guy shows me what's up. Because every single time I get a tripod, it's leaning the wrong direction. And somebody just brought me from America because he heard me talking, and he heard me saying, like, I don't know how to put the phone and doesn't have a thing. And he came from America and he brought me a tripod. He bought me, I barely know the man. He brought me a tripod. He's like, you need a tripod. And he brought me this fancy tripod from America, from Best Buy. And I was like, oh my God, I got a tripod. I'm so excited. You could tell I need a tripod. And it was just, I'm looking at it. It's so cool. It's so good. It's so new. It's all like good. And it doesn't work for me. It keeps my phone sideways. It doesn't work for me. And I tried every which way possible to make it work. I don't know how to work it. Okay, and I'm sure there's a way to work it. I just don't know how to work it. I gave it to my kids. They use it as a bracelet today. So it works for them. It works as a bracelet for them. The idea is that if you don't know how to use something, it can be brilliant, but if you don't know how to approach it, it's not going to work for you. And I feel like, with everything that's going on in the world that we're living in today, the biggest question mark for all of us is, how do I make this thing work for me? How do I make this me person here, work for me? That means that I wake up in the morning and I'm happy. I wake up in the morning and I feel alive. I wake up in the morning and I feel in love with myself, with life, with people, with humanity. How do I wake up in the morning and go to sleep at night satiated, feeling good, feeling full, feeling excited, wanting to give? Because you can't give if you're depleted. You can't give if you're running on empty. You can't really give. And if you give, it's like, I know I should be giving, but let me give, I'll do it, but I'm not really doing it because I'm overflowing. And that's the goal. That's the goal, my friends. The goal is to live. Hashem wants us. The reason that He created us is leitivim b'riotav. Is to make sure that we're good. We're happy, flying happy, full of friends, full of good experiences, living to our potential, living to our max, giving, loving, connecting, unifying, not isolating. The opposite of all good stuff is isolation, separation, feeling alone, not talking, paralysis, emotional paralysis, not being able to move, needing external things in order to make me feel a little bit better, or just a little bit better, having to have those things in order to just get through the day. Anything we're addicted to is a problem. If I'm addicted to it in order to be able to live, just to get through the day, it's become an issue. It's become a crutch. I'm not a person that's all into all or nothing. I'm not into all or nothing at all. I think that every single thing God put us into this world to be able to use things in this world to enjoy ourselves. Okay? I think that things have a time and place. But to completely need it in order to breathe is a problem. Okay? It's a problem because that means that this device over here called myself is not working. It's not working for me. It's not working for me. My car is not working for me. My house is not working for me. The washing machine is not working for me. If it's working for me, it's doing what it's supposed to do. If it's not working for me, it starts to move all of the house. It's spitting out water. It's not working for me. Okay? So what's amazing about what we're learning tonight, we're gonna touch a little bit about this fast tomorrow, which is so brilliant because if you think about it, we're fasting over the siege that happened over the first Beis HaMikdash. We've lost the second Beis HaMikdash since then. Why are we commemorating the first Beis HaMikdash? Okay, we're not commemorating anything about the second Beis HaMikdash. Second Beis HaMikdash we commemorate on Tisha B'Av, but we commemorate the first Beis HaMikdash also on Tisha B'Av. So why are we not commemorating the second Beis HaMikdash now during this 2,000 years of Galus since the second Beis HaMikdash? But we're fasting. I'm like not going to have that cup of coffee tomorrow morning, okay? Because of the first Beis HaMikdash that was destroyed. Weird. Okay, and there's a lot more questions about it. There's many more questions about this whole Asar B'Tevis thing. Okay, it's one of the four fasts that if it would fall on Shabbos, we would have to fast. No other fast besides for Yom Kippur, if it falls on Shabbos, do you fast? Every other fast we push off. It's a nidche. This is the only one that if it would fall, it will never fall on Shabbos. Okay, according to the Jewish calendar, there's no way for it to fall on Shabbos. It could fall on a Friday. Okay? But if it would fall, we would have to fast. We can't push it off. So it's like a really big deal. It's a big fast. It's a meaningful one. And the idea is that if you learn about it, if you understand it deeply, then you can learn a lot about this person here and how to make this person work. How to make this work for me. And the thing is that life is all a matter of it's all trial and error. We will always be on the treadmill of trial and error. Always, forever, and more. Always on the treadmill of trial and error. And if you think that right now you're riding the wave and it's amazing, wait, you're going to have an error. And to know how to have an error is the brilliance of life. To know how to fall and say, let me learn from this fall. Let me get this fall. Let me understand from this fall. What am I learning from this fall? What am I getting from this fall? How am I treating myself in this fall? How am I talking to myself during this fall? How am I blaming the world around me or not blaming the world around me for this fall? It's it's going to matter very, very much for the next trial, for the next success. It's gonna make all the difference. Because the failure is just as important as the success. It goes hand in hand. You can't succeed if you don't fail. Period. In life. In everything. In relationships, at work, with yourself, with your health. All of it. We have to take into consideration, and this is part one, that failure, you can put it in your pocket just like you put success in your pocket. It's part of you. And it doesn't mean anything about you in a negative way. It's part of humanity. It's part of being a human being. We have to go through it. We have to experience failure in our life. That's the only way to be able to get stronger. That's it. That's how you get stronger. All right? That's how you get equipped. That's number one. Number two. Okay, so it's very, very important because we live in a place, we live in a reality, in a world where people praise and bow down to perfectionism and beauty and filters and skinny and rich. It's like that is when you see someone like that, right? Then you're like, oh, they have it right. They got it right. That's why the whole world idolizes Hollywood. Because it's all of that, and you don't see any. I mean, you do see it. It's all coming out from the sides, right? You see the rehabs, and you see the overdoses, and you see the suicides, and you see all of that happening there. You see it definitely happening in the 8-minute marriages and all of those things, right? That are taking place there, and the need so badly not to look like myself, to fix my nose, and to add stuff to my lips, and to my tush, and to my wherever. Okay, to not be myself. Okay, so you see it, but really the world gives so much attention there. They give so much attention there because they have it right in a way. Because the part of our brain that thinks this success, they feed into. They feed into that part. Oh my God, she's so this, she's so that, I wish. Or if I'm not successful, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not going to marry this kind of guy, or I'm not going to be able to be, because look at all the stuff that I've done in my life, all the bad stuff that I've done in my life, all the stuff, look at where I don't match up, I don't add up to that. So I'm gonna deserve this much, this kind of guy, or that kind of life, or this kind of job. Right? Because it's very black and white. Life is not black and white. God doesn't want us to be black and white. He doesn't want it to be black and white. It's all a matter of evolving. It's all process. Okay? And you can feel like you failed now, and 2 years ago you were in a much better place. But really you're in a much higher place. You just failed here. You just moved down, but you're much higher. You're much higher. And that's going to even bring you higher. Okay, so that's point number one. What we're learning about Asar B'Teves is something brilliant. What happened in Asar B'Teves? Nebuchadnezzar built a wall around Jerusalem. He built a wall around Jerusalem. It wasn't him. It was the guy that worked for him, Nebuzaradan. Nebuchadnezzar actually never came to Israel. Okay, he never stepped foot here. Nebuzaradan was his messenger. He's the one that created this wall around, a siege around Jerusalem. Now the siege physically happened, but in spiritual terms, okay, it's still happening. Which means, what is the siege? Jerusalem. I'm going to fly through the facts give me 2 minutes. I'm just giving you the rundown of what happened on this day. Okay, Jerusalem was the Yerushalayim Oro Shel Olam. Okay, now light. When do you use light? When do you turn on the light? When you need to? When you need to see. When you need to see. When it's dark. Right? You can't see anything, so you walk into your kitchen at night, you want to see so you don't crash into everything. You turn on the light so you're able to see, okay? Gives you clarity. That's the idea. That's the whole idea of light. So Jerusalem was the light of the world. The light of the world means that if anyone ever had a problem, if anyone ever had a dilemma, if anyone had to make a decision, a really important one, and they didn't know what to do, if they would just step foot in Yerushalayim, where we are right now, all of a sudden everything would become clear to them. Where they are, where they're holding, what they should do, where they should go, if they should marry, if they should wait, all of it would become clear to them. Why? Because Jerusalem was the nucleus of light. Light in terms of clarity, in terms of direction, in terms of where am I going, what am I doing. That's the kind of light. Welcome. Hi. There's seats right here. So, perfect. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 3.
For you. We're waiting for you. Welcome. On the couch.
Yay,
ישראליות, אמריקאיות?
אמריקאית לפעמים.
אוי, עברית, אנגלית?
ברור שעדיף עברית, אבל אנגלית...
So we're going to challenge you tonight.
יופי.
יופי, אחלה. Okay, so אנחנו מדברות עכשיו, we're talking about Asara B'Tevet, the 10th of Tevet, and what we're talking about right now is what happened on this day, okay? So what happened on this day, that there was this evil man that he put a siege around, and when you learn about it deeply, it's mind-blowing, okay? We're going to get to the deep part in a minute. I'm just going to give the facts, the dry facts for a second. He put a siege around it. Jerusalem was the epitome of light. So when you needed any kind of clarity, you came to Jerusalem and you got the clarity that you needed. Okay, meaning that if you were unsure about yourself and you had your limiting beliefs and you were thinking, I can't really get a good job because all I am is just an artist, right? So how much money do artists make? Or that's not a real thing, right? Or a teacher, or I'm divorced. How am I going to ever really, I've had my experiences with men, and I'm not good at it. I'm just bad at it. Okay? I don't know how to lose weight. Losing weight, getting healthy, stopping to smoke, way beyond me. I don't know how to do it. I can't say no to myself. I just can't say no to my cravings. It's just, I know who I am. Okay? I know who I am. I am this way. I'm lazy. I don't know how to commit. I don't know how to commit for the life of me. I am such a straight shooter that I don't know how to just let go and let God. I need to be in control of everything 24/7. The thoughts that we have about ourselves that are limiting us, that are putting us into a very, very specific category. This is what I am, this is what I'm not. This is what I'm capable of, this is what I'm not capable of. This is where it's going to go, this is where it's not. This is how he is, this is how we tango. We don't know how to tango any other way. The thoughts that we have around things that put us into categories are the actual things that actually limit us and make us small. The siege that he put around Jerusalem was metaphorically and spiritually, what was going on there was that the Jewish people were in such a state already, because again, nothing happens on this world without it first happening in the world above us. Meaning, we create the spiritual reality in the world above us, and then that spiritual reality comes into this world. Meaning, when the Beis HaMikdash was already destroyed by Titus, the second Beis HaMikdash, what does it say there in Chazal? It says, "Bayit tzaruf sarafta." Right? It says that Titus was so proud of himself that he destroyed the second Beis HaMikdash, and a bat kol came out from Shemayim, and she said, "Titus, bayit tzaruf sarafta." You burnt a burnt house already. Don't think so much that you burnt the house. The house was already burnt. Where was it already burnt? It was already burnt up there. All the sinat chinam, all the disloyalty, all the backstabbing, all the lashon hara, all the gossip, all the stuff that was going on between us, that's what burnt the Beis HaMikdash up there. And then over here it was just a no-brainer already. It just needed this shagets to come in to put a cherev through the parochet and see it bleed and then burn the Beis HaMikdash. He didn't do anything. It was already done. It was already gone. He was just the shaliach. And we know what it says. It says, "Megalgelim chov al yidei chayav." He had a rotten soul, that through his rotten soul, he was sent into this world to do something rotten, because he deserved to be the messenger to do something rotten. Because he didn't have a good fiber in his being. He didn't have anything good about him. So he was a shaliach. But he didn't do anything. It was already done. How is it already done? Because we created that reality spiritually. Once the reality is created spiritually, it just takes a little bit of time for it to set up itself physically in this world, for us to actually manifest it. That's the idea of manifesting. That's the idea of manifesting. The idea of manifesting is that if you create it enough in your spiritual world, if you see it enough, and say it enough, and speak it enough, and envision it enough, you all of a sudden manifest it into the reality that you're living in. Because the reality is just a byproduct, the actual physical reality here in this world is just a byproduct of what? It's just a byproduct of the spiritual reality that's been being created either in your mind or by the nation of Israel, by the Jewish people. So at that point, when he put a siege around Jerusalem, the siege was already built. What was the siege? A siege is a matzol. Matzol is like when you put a muzzle on a dog. You put a muzzle on a dog, he's limited. You take people and you put them in quarantine. You put muzzles on them. You separate them. What happens to them? What happens to people? What happens to the reality around us? What happens to the quality of our relationships? What happens? Gets very, very, very tight. Gets very, very narrow. The feeling is a narrow feeling. What was the suicide rate during Corona? Very high. People that you would never dream would kill themselves. Because emotionally, it got to a point where it felt like in every direction, it was no. I can't go outside. I can't talk to my neighbor. I can't hug my parents. I can't go to work. I can't go to the gym. I can't do all the things. That make me feel alive. It gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. How much mental illness surfaced during this time? So much mental illness. Depression went up like by 400%, something crazy like that, around the world during this time. Right? So a siege, a spiritual siege, a mental siege, a siege like that happened before Nebuchadnezzar even put up the wall. It was already happening within us. The siege was a tzimtzum nefesh. A tzimtzum nefesh means that the nefesh of the Jewish people started getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and smaller and smaller and smaller. Which means what? What is tzimtzum nefesh? And this is going to be the answer for tomorrow. What do I have in mind? What's the point of the day? How do I approach it? How do I change reality? Because the only people that are able to change reality is us. Because we're the ones that care about changing reality are the ones that are meant to change reality. What's that quote? The ones that are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones that actually do. The people that think that the crazy people that think that wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to do things with my life that's going to change the world. Those people are the ones that actually do change the world. The crazy ones that think that they're going to change the world are the ones that actually do. The people that care enough about coming to a class about a fast that happened 2,500 years ago are the ones that are going to make this fast into a festival one day. Because most people can give two hoots about it. Alright? Most people are not coming out to learn about 10th of Tevet. Most people are not coming out to do that. Most people don't care about those things. Most people, the souls that do, the random souls that do, the selective souls that do, are the ones that are made to fix the reality. And the reality that came into being, meaning if we don't change the actual thing that happened, it will continue to chase us. Okay? The actual thing that happened is that they got very, very small in their toda'ah. In their consciousness, they got very, very small. This is what I am. This is what I can do. This is what I'm doing with my life. The end. The end. I wake up in the morning. I eat breakfast. I pray. Maybe I go to work. Maybe I don't. The end. And lots of people, especially after Corona season, are in this place of like, what do I do with my life? What am I for? What do I do? How do I fill the time? And it's really, really important to remember one thing. You don't fill your time. The way to fully be able to get the most out of this machine, like we were saying before, get the most out of the means. When you wake up in the morning, you are happy. And happy doesn't mean like, hey, I am up. No, you don't have to be so happy that you're smiling. Smiling is a really good byproduct of being happy. It's really, really good. But it's a feeling of I'm growing. It's a feeling of I'm moving. When a person feels that they're moving, even if they're in a tight place, even if they don't have the money right now, or they're not married right now, or they're unhappy with certain things right now, it's okay because they know that they're moving. So they're building. They're not stagnant. Stagnation is where all the problems start to come out. Okay, where people are stagnating, they're not moving, they're not building, they're not investing in something, they're not investing in themselves, they're not challenging themselves, they're not pushing themselves out the door when it's freezing cold to go for a run. They're not telling themselves, stop, you're doing a 10-minute meditation right now, or his Buddhist right now. They're not pushing themselves, running towards discomfort, which is where everything is at. We're just the idea of this class tonight. Okay? The idea of 10th of Tevet is that they put up a siege in their hearts around themselves, very, very limited beliefs. Very, very limited understanding of their life, very, very limited understanding of their ability, of their potential, of what they're here for. They moved from a space of expansiveness, they moved into a space of very, very limited. This is my day, this is what I do, this is where I am, this is what it is. And when do I live? When I go on that vacation. That's when I'm alive. When do I live? When I get implants, Botox, go to that party, smoke that thing, drink that thing. Then I look, my whole life is for that. No, it's every moment of my life, I can be alive and I can feel good. And the way to do that is by removing the siege. And that's what tomorrow is for. God doesn't need us to fast. He doesn't need me not to drink my coffee and be bummed out about it and count the moments and see, and then check it off, I fasted. The end. Sefer HaTodah, Eliyahu Kitov, he writes that a person that fasts on a fast day and just fasts for the sake of fasting, it's like peeling a fruit, taking the peel and throwing out the fruit. That's the idea of fasting is to make me focus. What's the idea of fasting? Is to make me focus. 1 second. Today's different. The energy is different. The time is different. What's up with this time? What's the reason for this thing? The reason for this thing is that he put a siege around Jerusalem. He locked everyone in, and he didn't let anyone out. What happened? All the people that wanted to come and get clarity, all the people that wanted to come and fly, all the people that wanted to come to Yerushalayim and get the light of Yerushalayim and get the understanding and get the inspiration and feel high and feel alive and feel, oh my God, this is what my life is for. This 80, 90, 100 years that I have in this world, this is what it's about and this is what it's for, to get that inspiration and to go home and to feel alive and to come back to the drawing board a different person. They weren't allowed in. There was no access to this light. And the light was already much dimmer. Much more dimmer. But again, it was dimmer already in Shemayim. That's why it was dimmer here. Because of the consciousness of the Jewish people. How do you fix it? So we are commemorating the siege around Jerusalem. We're commemorating the limited thinking and believing mainly about yourself. You don't criticize anyone unless you're criticizing yourself. You don't see anyone small unless you see yourself small. You don't see anyone dumb, stupid. You don't hate anyone unless you hate yourself. Okay? Everything starts here. Everything starts here. Everything starts with this machine. If I'm oiling this machine, I'm taking care of it. I know how to deal with it. I know what makes it feel good. I know what makes it feel bad. I stay away from what makes it feel bad. I go towards what makes it feel good and what's going to make it even feel better. It's not fun to go for a run. It's not like I'm only going to do things that are fun for me and I'm not going to do the things that are not fun for me. Opposite. The opposite, but a lot of both. Meaning there are things that are fun for me that you should do. If they're fun for you, if they make you happy, you have to do them. You have to do them. But are they self-destructive? The things that are self-destructive, that take away from your health, that take away from your focus, that take away from your ability to connect with other people, that isolate you, those things are self-destructive. So they may feel good in the moment, but are they an addiction? Or are they running away to? Being on your phone all day. Just being on your phone, it's a running away. Right? It's an escape. Yeah? So those things, they feel good in the moment, but they're really self-sabotaging. So in that moment, we say, 1 second, so what is helpful for this being? What will make this being flourish more? And I'm always around this being, because as well as I'm doing, everything around me will be doing. My children, my people, my work, my relationship to God, everything will be doing. When I grow, everything around me grows with me. Everything. So you want to change your relationship with someone else? Focus on yourself. Period. There's no more focus on other people. Take the focus off of everyone else, put it on yourself. How do I tend to me? What's good for me? And the next part we're learning right now is that in order to do the tikkun, of a 10th of Tevet, which is to remove the siege, God doesn't want us to live like that. God doesn't want us to live with all these limiting beliefs about ourselves. You're creative. You need to fly with your creativity. You were given certain gifts in different areas of your life. You're going to fly if you use those gifts. You know that, right? That's how we feel amazing. That's how we feel alive, when we use our gifts. More than you want to hear me speak, I need to speak. More. Way more. Because this gives me, this feeds me. It feeds me because God gave me a gift. God gave me a gift. God gave me such an interest in my heart to do this. Since I'm 14 years old, all I wanted to do, I had an obsession with doing this. I had an obsession with doing it. And if it wasn't meant for me to do this, I wouldn't have an obsession. I would do something else. I would sell real estate. Make a lot more money. Way more money. Right? And all along the years, you know how many times I've had a love and hate relationship with this thing of like, why am I doing this? It gives me no money, kimat, almost, very little. I have to sell Torah, which is like the hardest thing in the world to sell. It happens to be the hardest. You have to sell Torah to Jews. You're dealing with the Yetzer Hara, basically. You're dealing with the Yetzer Hara. You have to figure out a way to get through the Yetzer Hara to get into their hearts. And then if you're not authentic, if you're not in your place, it's felt immediately. Okay? You could talk the talk, but it's felt immediately. Okay, so there's so many things that are not fun in this thing called my job or my speaking or my career or my passion, right? But I'm always back at it. I'm always back at it. Why? Because he put this in me, and this is what he wants me to do with my life. This is part of what he wants me to do with my life. I can't get away from it. And when I do it, I feel so good afterwards. Right? Because that's how it's supposed to work. When you do the things that you were gifted with, you feel so good afterwards. What stops you from doing the things that you're gifted with? The self-sabotaging talk. The siege. The siege. The siege is the self-limiting beliefs, the self-sabotaging talk. No, it's not for me. I can't do it. It's too hard. I don't have what it takes. I don't feel like it. It's so hard. Forget it. Whatever. I can't. All that talk is keeping you unhappy. Is keeping you indoors in a siege, not without all the light that can come through. So the tikkun of tomorrow, and this is where we're going to keep our focus for tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem. There's a lot of things that we can learn about 10th of Tevet, but I think that this is the most crucial for us. I really think so. The tikkun for 10th of Tevet is to understand that your comfort zone, your zone of comfort, what you're used to, there is something in that zone that's holding you hostage. And all the stuff that you can experience in life, all the joy, all the happiness, all the light that you can experience in life is always waiting on the other side of the comfort zone. It's always waiting on the other side of the comfort zone. It's always going to be in the place where you're going to kick yourself into your lane, into what's good for you. No, I can't stop eating sugar. I love sugar. I'm addicted to sugar. First of all, let's not call ourselves addicts to anything. I'm not addicted to anything. Nothing has control over me. I like it. Don't give it more credit than you should. You're not addicted to anything. Nothing has any control over you. Nothing has any control over you. God even says, I don't have control over you. He says, you have control over you. We are partners. God can give us, this is the most amazing thing, this is what I've been learning recently. It's incredible. God can want for us so much good, but I can also say, no thank you, and then it won't come my way. That's the idea of Shefa and Kalim. That God can want me to be married right now, to find my husband right now, to find my perfect match right now. But with my limited beliefs, God forbid, about who he is, what it's going to look like, what I'm capable of, what I'm not capable of, all my traumas, all my things from my past and all the things, right? And it can keep me from actually meeting him. He can want me to get married now, December. Let's say December is my time to get married. But I could push it off more, and I could push it off more. I could push it off. Why? Because I have a siege. I have a siege in my brain, and it's called limited belief, limited thinking about my life. I can only do this and this and this. Beyond this, I can't do anything. You can do anything. Anything. Especially with the gifts that you were given. And the only reason that I'm holding myself back is because I don't believe it. I don't really believe it. I think it's just a bunch of jargon. Just jargon. All this ha, yeah, life can be amazing. I hated those people my whole life. All these positive people, I hated them. I'm the last person that's like that. I'm like, oh God, no. Yalla, next. What I realized is that I only started feeling alive, and all of a sudden all these chakras in my brain started opening up, and in my heart and in my being, and I felt like this, and I drew new close relationships, amazing people, different levels of people. When I stopped making excuses for myself and stopped telling myself that I'm small when I was really much bigger. Stop telling myself, I can't, I'm lazy, I don't know how to commit, it's hard for me, who am I, I'm not good enough. Stopped. I could, I will, and I'm going to do it. That's it, I'm done. I could, I will, and I'm going to do it. It's hard for me, it's hard for you. Yeah, it's hard for you. You're going to fall. It's okay, get back up, it's okay. Fall, get back up, next. I'm not going to do it and never fall. I'm going to fall, I'm going to crash. I'm going to smash myself. It's okay, I'm going to keep doing it. That's the idea. To remove the siege, to remove a 10th of Tevet, because a 10th of Tevet is a day that it says into the Zohar, it's going to turn into a simcha, this day. Because what's the simcha? Oh my gosh, the simcha is to remove the siege, to remove all the limited beliefs, to remove all the stuff that I'm this, I'm that, I can't, it's this, it's that, it's always hard for me, I have so many traumas, I'm never going to make enough money, I'm always broke, it's so hard for me, I'm always having the wrong friends, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to get a job, I don't know how to attract a guy, I'm fat, It's to remove all that garbage and to let the light in. That's why it's going to be a happy day. That's why it's going to be a festival. That's what it's going to be, because that's what makes us happy. What makes us happy is to live and thrive and establish and become and grow. That's what makes a person alive. That's what gives you strength. Remember what we said before. All your stuff, all your energy, it's all internal. It's all internal. You can have energy and run on no sleep and have a lot of energy. Or you can run on tons of sleep and have no energy. It's all internal. It's all the nefesh. When the nefesh is alive, you're alive. You have energy. You're alive. And how do you make your nefesh alive? By removing the siege. Tomorrow, 10th of Tevet, the whole point, the whole focus of tomorrow is, where am I sieging myself up? Where am I quarantining myself voluntarily? I'll voluntarily screw up my life. No, you don't have to do it. I'll do it. I got it. I'll do it. I'll hang out with the people that don't see me, don't hear me, and I'm always going to just try to get them to see me, get them to notice me, people please them to death in order to find some of my self-worth. Or I'm going to, first and foremost, stop telling myself what I can and cannot do. Stop putting myself into categories and telling myself, this is what it is for you. Stop! I'm opening myself up. And that's very, very much has to do with, it says, in essence, it says that anyone that is mistabel, anyone that mourns over Jerusalem, over the state of Jerusalem, is going to be able to see, is going to be rejoice when she is rejoicing in her fullness. It's all very metaphoric. What it means, Jerusalem stands for our consciousness. When you are able to be metabel al Yerushalayim, to be metabel means to mourn over Jerusalem, to mourn over the state of Jerusalem. It means, and tomorrow's fast has to very much to do with the state of Jerusalem, okay, not the physical state of Jerusalem. Physical state of Jerusalem is just a byproduct of what's going on with us emotionally and mentally and spiritually. Okay? What we see around us, what's going on around us, it's just a byproduct. It's just a totza'ah of what's going on spiritually in our people, in our nation. So that anyone that mourns it, that takes the time to mourn it. Tomorrow we're mourning. Fasting is a mourning. It's a process of mourning. What am I mourning? I am mourning all that time and all that energy and all of that lostness, however you want to say it, of not seeing myself, not seeing my power, not seeing my potential, giving myself shortcuts that are really long cuts in the end, allowing myself to be with people that don't bring out anything good in me, make me smaller and smaller and smaller, run after things that make me run away from myself. That's what I'm mourning. I'm mourning that, and I'm making a commitment to myself in order to change the spiritual reality, in essence, in order to change the physical reality. I'm making it that no more sieges. No more sieges on myself, no more negative self-talk, no more boxing myself in, no more telling myself what I can and cannot do, but yes, coming out of my comfort zone. Yes, telling myself that in order to come out of the siege, I have to come out of my comfort zone, which means to do things that are good for me, that are kind to me. And that it's not always fun. And it's not always easy. But it's always rewarding. Always rewarding. And that means, where is it hard for you to be kind to yourself? What are you eating? What are you eating? Are you trashing your body? Can we do 80-20? Can we do 80% healthy to make sure that I get in certain fruits and vegetables on a daily basis? Have to. And then all the other crap that I decide to eat, I eat at a 20%, but it's not vice versa. It's not like, I don't matter, yada, whatever. I don't care. Because that's the message you're sending yourself. That you don't matter. That your health, the way you feel, your well-being, your energy, who cares? It's good. It tastes good right now. Who cares? How are you treating yourself? How are you allowing other people to treat you? How's your self-worth? How do you talk to yourself in the mirror? How do you talk to yourself when you look yourself in the mirror? Do you find the good? Are you looking for the Nakuda Tova? It sounds so silly almost. It sounds so simple almost, but it's the hardest work in the world. We want to make everything very, very complicated. Very, very complicated. It's very, very, very simple. The reason that our situation is so tight, is mitzumtzam right now. Oh, I have to tell you this. Wait, what was that thing that I had to tell you? The story about my friend, her name is Maya. Maya was a girl that became religious when she came from Russia. She came from Russia when her parents were Russian, communist Russia. They came during the Iron Curtain when it was up, and they came to America, and she never knew she was Jewish. And she got to America. I heard the story firsthand. She told me this story. She got to America, and when she got to America, all these rabbis offered to pay her parents money, to give them money to help them get a job and help them get food if they sent her to Jewish school. So they sent her to a Jewish school, and in the Jewish school, she became frum. She becomes frum, and she starts wearing only skirts, and her parents have her father mainly had a heart attack. He couldn't deal with it. He hated anything that had to do with religion. He was also coming from communist Russia. And one Shabbos, he kicked her out of the house. He said, if you're going to keep Shabbos, get out of my house. So she left. She was 14 years old. She was keeping Shabbos, and she walked to visit this old lady on Shabbos. And she was crossing Bedford and Avenue K, JK over there in Brooklyn. She was crossing the street. A car swerved, lost control of his car, crashed into a pole. The pole fell on her as she was crossing the street, and Hatzalah came, and they had to, in order to save her life, they had to amputate her arm on the spot. She wakes up in the hospital without an arm. She's 14. This happens all when her father kicks her out on Shabbos, and she's keeping Shabbos, and she's doing it l'shem shamayim. And she wakes up in the hospital, and her father tells her this. The first thing he tells her. He says, this is the God you believe in? This is the God you believe in? That did this to you? If you wouldn't keep Shabbat and you would stay home for Shabbat, then none of this would have happened to you. This is the God you believe in? And Maya, being the most amazing person that she is, she looked at him and she said to him, Papa, if I understood every single thing this God did, it wouldn't make him a God. It would make him me. If I understood every single thing that he did and why things are the way they are, then I would be him. Because I understood him completely. By the fact that I don't understand his ways, proves to me that there is a God. This thing that happened to her with her arm was a lifesaver to her. In the end, she ended up becoming a bad bite by the guy that saved her, the Hatzalah members that saved her. She grew up in their house, basically. They took care of her. And they set her up with her husband, who's currently her husband, who's a ger from India. He's a ger from India. I spent Shabbos with them a bunch of years ago. They live here in Israel. And she has an incredible story. But what her superpower was, is that bad things will happen to us in our life. We're going to have bad things happen to us. We will fail. We won't succeed. Some of us might get divorced. Some of us, God forbid, might lose something or someone, God forbid. The idea is not about the actual things that happen. The idea is how to roll with the punches. How to be a person that knows how to roll with the punches of life. That knows how to take your failures, take the stuff that didn't work well for you, take your bad midos, take the things that are not working in life, and say, okay, if I understood every single thing that God did, I would be him. This is for my best. And keep rolling. Keep rolling. So we're going to end here. And I just want to remind you all that we're going to do this again. And if this takes off nicely, then we're going to do it every Monday night. And it's not going to just be, it's going to also not just be me speaking, but interactive. Okay, because it's important that we hear each other a little bit. And that people have a space to be able to ask, share, feel, all of that. I find that amongst, I feel less around Israelis, more around people from not Israel. There's a lot of shame in calling a spade a spade. There's a big need to just look like everything is fine and I'm doing great and Baruch Hashem. Okay. So growth happens when I'm able to look at the things that are not working in my life and that I'm not happy with in my life and say, Gam zetov. And be able to say them. And say, yeah, this is my issue, this is my problem, this is my addiction, this is where it's at. How do people heal? When they call themselves out. When they say, this is where I'm limited. This is where I don't know how to get my life together. So if anybody wants to share anything, I could turn off these cameras. Even though we have some people watching us. Hey guys. If anybody wants to share anything. Because it's nice to hear a class, but it's much nicer to do the work. Run towards discomfort. My friends, run at it. Run at it. Stop avoiding it. Stop being afraid of it. Stop being scared of it. You don't know how to commit. Commit to something, even if it's the smallest thing. Commit to drinking 1 cup of water in the morning when you wake up. Commit to it. Commit to it. Commit to something if that's your thing. Whatever is your thing, whatever is your limited belief, whatever is the thing, whatever is your siege, run at it. Run at the siege. Run at it. Stop being afraid. Fear is paralysis. Fear holds you back. Yeah, you want to say something? Yeah, your hand does. You're reaching out. Fear is paralysis. Fear makes us want to run towards pleasure and run away from discomfort. Run towards discomfort. Run it. Anyone want to share anything? Anyone want to share something that they're going to run towards tomorrow? When I say run towards, it could be mental. You don't have to go anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going jogging.
No, please don't.
Please don't.
Not tomorrow. Saturday. Yes.
Yeah, I've always had like my comforts and my safety blankets, and I just got here 2 weeks ago, coming as vacation, and then I realized I left all my comforts behind, and I'm actually, for the first time in my life, I feel at home.
Oh.
It's really spooky for me because I've always been homesick.
Mm.
Like at home, I've always been homesick.
At home?
Yes, and that's why I always thought maybe I belonged in Israel. But I never came here because it's so hard to live here.
It's so hard to live here.
And now I miss
That's
my
another
car,
siege right there.
I miss my, oh my gosh, I miss everything. But then I got here and I realized, I don't really miss my car. I don't really miss my bedroom. Like, I'm suddenly not homesick. It's freaking me out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really cool.
So break it down. Break it down. What does it mean?
That those things were holding me back. They were my comfy little safety blanket, and I gave them up, and I'm finding out so much more about myself. Like I'm suddenly seeing opportunities I never thought about. And people keep asking me, "What are you gonna do? What's your plan?" And I say, "I don't know. I love that." It's like the first time I don't
Stay
have a
open.
plan, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. ללכת עם הסיבות is a big one. ללכת עם הסיבות means that whatever Hashem puts in your way, be open. Obviously, not to dark, dangerous things. Okay, don't be open to dark, dangerous things. Those are not good things to be open to. Okay, but just know that as you grow, dark, dangerous things will come your way, because that's the idea. The idea is that as the more person evolves and becomes themselves, the more the dark elements in the world are going to try to pull them back down. Okay, comfort is a very big deal in terms of the dark elements in the world. Dark elements don't only come as scary images like Hitler, God forbid. Okay,
So that's why it's hard to find the balance between we are supposed to keep ourselves comfortable and have our comforts at the same time. We're not supposed to get too comfortable. That's just an example. Let's say back at home, I had got myself a weighted blanket. Love it. And then I got
I don't even know
here,
what that is.
It's just a blanket that has metal beads in it,
Oh.
and it just weighs me down.
Oh,
And
okay.
it feels really comfortable. And I got used to sleeping with weight. And I got here and I couldn't fall asleep. So I put piled towels on top of me and everything, and I'm like, I can't sleep without a weighted blanket. And then I just decided I can't ship it here. That's not happening.
Wow.
So I just went to sleep. And now I'm fine. I would love to have it, but I don't need it.
Exactly.
At the same time, it's nice to give yourself comforts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's hard to balance it.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's a trap, though. You have to be careful with comforts. They're a big trap. Okay? Because you get comfortable and then you stop moving. When does a person stop moving? When they're comfortable. If they don't need money, and they have money in their account, they have a house, their bills are paid, why would they go to work? They're comfortable. Why would they put themselves in an uncomfortable position and go to work and wake up early and run and have responsibility? Why would they do that? The people that do that are the people that understand that it's the hard work and the rolling up my sleeves, and it's that feeling of making money or making people happy or whatever it is in my day that gives me that feeling that money can't buy. Money
Does that mean
can't
you should
buy.
specifically not allow yourself those pleasures?
Yeah. There's Rav Eliyahu Dessler. He speaks about how before you ingest anything, even if it's not physically eating it, but before you bring anything into your reality that's comfortable and pleasurable, before you buy another skirt, before you buy another pair of boots, before you go and ask yourself, do I really need this? Because what happens is that there's something called, you have 100% space in your nefesh. It could either be taken up, it's literally, this is how it works. It could either be taken up by spirituality, and spirituality means a good feeling, that accomplishment feeling, that feeling when you are in love with someone. When you're in love with someone, you can't hold love, you can't draw love, you can't draw a circle around love, you can't explain love, you can't go to the store and buy love, you can't. It's either it develops and it's there and you feel it, or it's not, right? It's not, right? That's how it is. Meaning anything that's worthwhile is spiritual. And anything that's spiritual, it's not tangible. Things that are tangible give you a good feeling, okay? But they also take up space in your nefesh. What's this whole idea of minimalism? You heard about minimalism? If you don't need it, toss it. If you don't need it, get rid of it. Rabbi Nachman teaches, if you have holes in your clothes, if you have broken dishes, throw them out. Don't hold on to things that have already been, it's time for them to go. He specifically says about holes in the clothes that the shefa that a person has is supposed to get in there, will go somehow leave through the holes in their clothes. Meaning the garments that a person wears, if they're whole, it keeps their shefa in. Somehow it's spiritual, it's deep, it's complicated, but that's how it goes. Meaning, if it doesn't serve you anymore, let it go. Why do you need that extra bag? Why do you need are you using it? Because it takes up space in your nefesh. People that have a lot of stuff, it takes up space in their nefesh. Even if it's in some storage somewhere, it takes up space in their nefesh. That's what happens. So you can either fill up the space in your nefesh with experiences, emotions, spirituality, or you can fill up the space in your nefesh with stuff. Do you need that extra cup of coffee right now? Do you need it? Yes, if it'll make you happy, go get it. But if it's just like, yeah, why not? It's on sale, let me get it. Why not? Another skirt, it's whatever, I don't need it. I have 100, but I'll just get it. Who cares? That's not good. It literally takes up space in you. And it affects you. So you have a lot of things, but it's weight. It's emotional weight. So these classes, these groups, it's gonna evolve. This is not how it's gonna be every single time. It might be like this, it's gonna change, maybe we're gonna figure it out. But it's really to serve, this whole thing is to serve a purpose. And the purpose is to make us better, happier people that are also like, we meet new people and we create new relationships, which is a very big part of being happier people. And unifying with one another and being real in a real place, in a real space, and being real where we're at. And no one's expected to be up here. It's all right. You could be down here. It's okay. We've all been down there. It's all right. It's okay. Okay. And to be real with that. Be real. That's the idea. And to heal in order to heal the world. Make it a better place. That's the idea. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.